PJNET.TV. It is 31 on the East Coast. That makes us a minute late. Bumper is running. I had the curtain open earlier. Whoops. We are recording. We are streaming. We have a chat room waiting, and you saw everybody's waiting. So let's start a countdown to Studio 13. Well, there we go. Sorry I left the curtain open earlier, but hello, good evening. This is PJNET.TV. I am Coach Prasick. And behind me is the introduction to Michelle Medlock Adams, who needs no introduction. She is with us every Wednesday night about this time. Can't wait to hear what she has for us. She was telling me earlier, is your life as crazy as mine right now, Michelle? I mean,
I think so. I think we would probably be crazy together. Yeah. I mean, I would challenge anybody to have a crazier life than mine at this very moment.
Well,
it's just total chaos.
We have something in common. I am trying to get contractors to show up and work.
I mean, good luck, sir. I know it is like really, I mean, last Thursday, there were 14 people at the house working, and I was like, the heavens had opened. The angels were singing. It was like the best day ever. So we're hoping for that tomorrow. They're all supposed to come back tomorrow. We've had a couple here, a couple there, but everything, like the big stuff should be done tomorrow. So we're fingers crossed.
So any prediction when you're going to actually move in?
We actually have scheduled the movers this week for December the 18th. So I will be spending Christmas in the new house, the house we redid.
All right,
in the process of redoing.
Let me take a quick look at my calendar. December the 18th is a Friday. Help yourself, no problem, as long as it's not on a Wednesday. I mean,
yeah, that's right. No, I will be. I don't know. I may be doing it inside a moving box that Wednesday. But I will.
Yeah, folks, take a good look at the decor on the wall behind her, because very soon it will be cardboard boxes.
That's right. That's right. That's where we're at. This is the only room that's untouched right now.
Do you feel good that you've done a good job, getting everything ready? Because that's the hitch with moving. I've helped people move in our church, and it would aggravate us because we're volunteering, and if they have everything in boxes, we can move it.
Right.
If they don't.
I mean, yes, everything. My sister came over today, and she said, I'm actually surprised you've gotten so much done. Yes, we have quite a bit of things already packed. We had to leave some things out because, we're still living here until the 18th. But, I mean, that's everything I need. So then I'm like, oh, I wonder what box that's in. Like, I needed gloves the other day because it was like 13 degrees. They're packed. So I'm like, well, I mean, we'll just go without. You just do what you got to do. Yeah. Ooh. So I don't know where everything is, but it's all labeled, but it's all sealed with that packing tape. So we're just making do and hoping that it all comes together, because on the 18th, everybody's going to have to, it's all going. Everything's going. So it's good. We're going to have a sale later. We're not going to try to do the sale for the things we're not wanting to put in the new house because, it's too cold to have a yard sale right now. So it's all fine.
Yeah. Not the season for yard sales.
Not really. No. Not the best.
No, only the dedicated ones who want to, they're in it for a business and they want to steal it. They want to steal it.
Yeah. I'd probably let them steal it at this point. They just get it out of my house. But yeah, so things are going well. But, in all of this, and that's why I wanted to talk about keeping your peace tonight. It's just been, y'all know that we had COVID and we recovered. And then my brother-in-law actually passed away from COVID on the 23rd of November. And we've just had this, there's just been so much and so quickly. And then this past Wednesday, not Wednesday, today's Wednesday. Tuesday. Is yesterday Tuesday? Yeah. Tuesday.
Tuesday's the day before Wednesday.
Day before Wednesday. Okay. I get a call from my sister, but I didn't answer because I was in the shower. And then there's somebody pounding on my front door, and I don't, I'm like, I can't come down there because I'm in the shower. So I'm like, wonder why that UPS guy doesn't just leave the stuff there. I mean, I didn't relate that they two were connected, but my sister was involved in the accident. So she was hit right out. I mean, she's okay, but her car is not good. Right out in front of my house, kind of down like one street over on Lincoln. And so somebody who was at the scene came down to tell me that my sister was in an accident and, for me to come down there. But I didn't get the message because I didn't go to the door because I was in the shower. Anyway, but just even that, like the fact that my sister, who just lost her husband, was in a crazy accident on it's just like so many things.
Yeah.
No, just stuff. And so Marty and I were we're talking about all the stuff that's been going on, and there's more stuff I won't just bore you guys with, but a lot of stuff, really, like, I mean, a lot. And I said, I don't know how people get through stuff without God. I don't know how
Tell
you
me
go
about
through
it.
grief. I don't know how you go through just everyday stuff. I mean, there's just stuff that's hard in life until we get to the other side, till we go to heaven. And she said, I don't either. But one of the ways is just to, it says that Jesus will give you that peace that passes all understanding, that supernatural peace. And that's sort of what we have to walk in these days. And it reminded me of a blog that I wrote for Guidepost a few years ago. So I thought I'd share about that tonight. Jeff and we love to put our tree up. Like, that's one of our favorite things to do. We actually have like 9 trees, but we usually put up 4 or 5 of them. But our one in the living room, that's our big tree, the 8-foot tall tree. We do it, all sparkly. I even have like Grinches that go on it. Like, I love red and green and these big polka dot bows, and it's just lots of glitter and what you would expect, right? Lots of glitter. And so I have this one ornament that I bought. I just love it, from a little gift shop, and it says peace, and it's in red glitter, and it's perfect. And it's about this big, and I put it, right in the front. And so when we always wrap them pretty carefully, with paper and with the bubble wrap stuff.
Yeah.
But last year when we unwrapped it, peace didn't make it. So when I unwrapped it, it was just PEA. Well, P and peace are 2 completely different things. So I'm like, I don't think I'm putting that on the tree front and center. So we got tickled. I mean, we had a good laugh about it. Jeff's like, I think I can fix it. And so he was there trying to super glue it. But, I thought there's a lesson in all this. It's not just about your red glittery peace sign you put on your tree, or I see a lot of peace bumper stickers and things, but it's about the peace that you have in your heart. So even though my little cute glittery red peace sign for my tree was broken, and it was not able to be used that year, I still had peace in my heart, and I still have peace in my heart. Even though my heart was broken when my brother and I went to heaven, there's still peace in there. And so you can't take that peace away from you, because that's the kind of thing that isn't affected by circumstances or by, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world that's not peaceful right now. When we still, like, the election, still crazy things going on with that. And with my, like, personally, with the move and stuff that's going on, our buyers that for our house, which we are so excited, their buyers for their house backed out. So they're having to now start showing their house again. And we don't want to sell the house out from underneath them, because we really like them. They're our new friends. And even though we've got other people who want the house, I mean, there's just a lot of things. And I know everybody has stuff, very serious things, like losing a loved one, to losing income, to losing jobs, to losing touch with people because you can't see them. There's just a lot of stressors right now in the midst of 2020, 2020 with murder hornets and all the crazy things that happened. But you're right. I mean, what are the...
Okay, Michelle was in agreement with me, but she's kind of locked up right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly reset the connection and hope that she just magically reappears. Let's see. And she didn't. So, okay, what I'll do, I'll take this wonderful opportunity to invite you. The best kept secret on the internet, I'm told, is the PJNET.TV chat room. The best kept secret on the internet. Folks, you might be watching this on YouTube, Facebook. There's a lot of places that we stream this to live. And we would encourage you to join the family, the fellowship, and you will not regret visiting the PJNET.TV chat room. It's open, get this, 24 hours a day. You can see it right there in real time. You can see there's a nice group of friends waiting to meet you. And so, all right, well, with that, we are still struggling to get Michelle back on board. So what I'm going to do, let's check on her real quick. I'm going to disconnect and reconnect again. I hope that she, I see a connection. I just don't see any audio or video like that. So that's not going to work. So, well, let me do this then. Let me give you an update. I am monitoring the connection with Michelle, and if she's able to rejoin us, I'll interrupt myself and go with you. Let me tell you some things that are going on. We've first of all, I am as far as PJNet.TV is concerned, we are doing some deforestation around here. And when I use the plural we, I should really correct myself and say I. removing tree after tree after tree. We had a contractor come in with a crane and remove the ones that are too tall to fall without damaging the house. So we had that done. A new shed has been placed in what was a forest. And a lot of the stuff you can't see here, but you took a tour here not too long ago. Basically, we have a utility building, and half of it is our studio. The other half is for storage. That means my wife. So some of that storage that is now being used over to my right that you cannot see will be used. Okay, we totally lost Michelle there. So what I'm going to do now is do another reset, and maybe she'll come back. But we'll use this opportunity to bring you up to date, and hopefully Michelle will find her way back because we're anxious to hear the rest of the story. So I've kind of had to throw some things overboard because when contractors are coming in, you have to have the woods cleared to set the building. We also are making other improvements in the studio, as we're always doing. And now I'm getting a message from Michelle. Don't know. Yeah, what I'll do here is let me just put something on here so I can correspond with Michelle. Michelle, I can see something. I can hear you out there. Let me temporarily disengage the audio. Folks, as luck would have it, Michelle is back. We don't know what just happened, but something happened. It's sort of like the world, the creation. Something happened. God said, yes. Bang, and it went bang, and here we are. Peace, Michelle.
Peace.
I was going to interrupt you at some point and remind myself and you and anybody else that needs to hear this, and everybody needs to hear this. You can't wait until those stressors, those unplanned emergencies occur to start thinking, I need some peace. Okay? It needs to be an intentional part of our life. Now, I have a strategy. Okay? I do a couple of things, and you may think this is a little crazy, but my point is, whatever your strategy is, have one in advance. I go outside, and if I can find ducks, geese, or just kind of enjoy God's creation and remind myself who's really in charge.
Yes.
The other one is this, and I almost hate to admit it. I go to thedodo, THEDODO.com. You ever heard of it?
No.
It makes me cry. It makes me so grateful. Animal rescues, animal, just that remind me of what, really, come on. What, and puppies and dogs and, when
yes.
soldiers come home, how they're
Love
just,
it.
And it brings a peace to my spirit. Now, the problems are still there. Okay. Now, you may have a different coping mechanism, a bottle of wine. I don't know. But those
Nope.
don't work. Those don't work
right.
because your problems magnify. You're losing strength. And so when you get torn, stressed like that, what are some of the coping mechanisms that you use to get back on top of things?
Anytime that I'm going through stress or things I don't understand or things I don't have the answer to.
Speaking of dogs.
Yeah, speaking of, that's our rescue dog, Bella, right there. She likes to get in on every video I do. Bella, that's our rescue. I will put on some praise and worship music, and I will just get down with my bad self. I will just be praising God and like sometimes getting my dance on. Like I have to hear music. And then other times it depends on what the situation is. I'll just dive into the word, go to my favorite passages, or I'll put on a podcast, some kind of encouraging podcast, some of the preachers that I trust and that I follow, and just listen to two or three of those. Whenever I'm at a conference, Bethany Jett, who's one of my best friends, one of my best friends in the world, and also my co-author, my business partner at Platinum Literary. When we travel, we always will have on a podcast as we get ready in the morning. We sort of have a routine. Going to bed at night, we'll like watch The Office and or Frasier, depending on what we're on at that. Just some kind of mindless TV, and while we're like doing our nails and putting our facial masks on and things. But in the mornings, we get up and we're not really either one of us morning people. She drinks her coffee, I get my diet Pepsi, and we'll immediately put on one of our favorite podcasts, one of our favorite preachers, and just let that kind of wash over us, and it sets the tone for the day. I think you have to take control of the day before the day takes control of you, and that's one way to do that. Is just by getting your mindset right. Get the right mindset.
Well, and then you've got to transition out of that. You've got to kind of lick your wounds, heal up, get strong, but then you have to get out there and do battle. And you've got to strengthen yourself. And for me, I struggle with getting rest because I want to double down. I want to double down, but I remind myself look, we all get in situations that impact us. But once you need to get up. You can't just sit there and pray forever. Okay. God, in all the miracles, I was just sharing this with somebody today. Of all the miracles I've read in the Bible, God could have done that without he could have just done them. But every time he required something as an act of faith. Mm-hmm. Well, folks, if the situation is impacting you, go listen to your music, go watch Dodo, whatever it is you do, but get out of that and start impacting the situation. You said something one time. You probably don't even remember it.
Probably not.
We all set goals. That's important.
Right.
But part of the problem with setting goals is sometimes we come short. Mm-hmm. And you said something one time that I use, when I come up short, you said, do something every day to move you closer to your goal.
That's
Maybe
right.
you didn't make as many steps as you should have or could have or whatever, but take a step. Do something that you can mark through that thing on your to-do list. No matter, if it's something, just take out the garbage. Write it down, take out the garbage, and then go take out the garbage. And
I do that.
Yeah. Get some feeling of accomplishing something. Mm-hmm. And so often, what I'm working on now, it's hard work. I get all hot and sweaty, and we're going through a lot of laundry, put it that way. But what I like about it is that when you get done, you can look at it and say, nice. Mm-hmm. If you're writing a book and you added 1,000 words to the manuscript, you can't necessarily do that. A lot of the projects I work on.
Oh, I can do that. Are you kidding me? That's when I screenshot it and go, woo! 1,000 words down, sister chicks. I put that all over social media. You betcha you can document that. Coach, I get so excited when I get through 1,000 words. That's a big deal. Writers out there going, that's right.
You
Michelle,
can celebrate it, but you can't see it. Okay, I didn't mean you can't celebrate it. It's obviously, but when I finish doing something, when you got a tree down and all, now the tree's not on the ground anymore, I can take a before and an after picture. Okay. Mm-hmm. and that's what's so nice about that kind of work. It's one that's physically exhilarating. It's a good workout. And now I can eat bacon and hash browns and without any guilt, and put butter on there. I don't actually use butter. I use olive oil.
You can do that after you edit 1,000 words too, but you're gonna have to hit the treadmill after all that. So that is a mental workout, but you're right, not a physical one. One thing I was gonna say though, when you're trying to keep your peace and things, my sister and I have been talking so much recently since her husband passed, just about how to keep your joy and how to be grateful in light of the things that are going on. And we were talking about the story about the children of Israel when they were being led to the promised land, and they've already escaped all the plagues and all the things that have gone on, and they've loaded them down, their captors loaded them down with gold and everything for them to go. And so they're thinking, okay, we got away, this is good, we're out from underneath Pharaoh and we're headed this way. And then they get to the edge of the Red Sea, and there's chariots coming at them. They can hear the horses are hello, I mean, did you bring us out here for us to die? What is going on? And then, I mean, at the very last minute, God parts the Red Sea and they're walking through, right? And so the thing is, they can still see that the Egyptians are coming for them, like they're after him, right? They're after
Mm-hmm.
him. And Marty and I've talked about, I'm like, if I'm one of the Israelites walking through on dry land and there's water on both sides, I can see like fish and things on each side. I'd be like, this is pretty cool, but are you guys aware that there are still people coming behind us on horses who can also come through here after me? Like, this
Mm-hmm.
is serious business. And I think I would have been saying, God, are you watching this? Like, are you aware that they're right on our tails? And I didn't know that when I got to the other side, the minute that last Israelite got across, and all those horses and all those people that are coming after us are right behind us. When they're all in there, then he closes the Red Sea up and drowns them all. I didn't know that was coming. All I could see was I can hear their footsteps. They're right behind us, and I don't know what's going to go on. And so I think you have to remember that God's timing is almost never our timing. If it'd been the way I'd like it best, if that had been me, I'd be like, could you maybe take care of this like just before we get to the Red Sea, just so I don't have anything to worry about. I can just enjoy this cool experience and see the fish like looking at me and stuff. Like that would be fun. But I have to worry about what's going on behind me. And I think that that's where maybe we are in this world right now. There's so many things going on, and it's just so hard to focus on what's really important and to know that God's got you, because he does. He has you. And that's how you maintain peace when you can still feel, hear the footsteps and feel the hot breath of somebody behind you coming at you. You just have to know that, listen, God's timing is not our timing, and his ways are higher than our ways. But even though he doesn't do things the way that we might do it in the time frame we'd like him to do it in, that doesn't mean that he has failed us or that he's not going to do it. It just means it hasn't happened yet. So we have to trust him. And when you trust him with that kind of trust, you'll keep your peace, even when it doesn't look like it's working. Because honestly, when your husband just passed away and then you're in a wreck and all this stuff's happening, you're thinking, are you aware what's going on, God? Like, did you go on vacation and just forget to let me know what was going on? But he didn't. He's still right there with you. But you just have to know that he still has got you, even if the outward circumstances don't line up with what you thought they should. He still has it under control. And that's how you keep your peace. So that's kind of what I think we all need to maybe be thinking about as we go through this holiday season. That might be stressful, it might be different, look different this year than it has in other years. If you're going through financial difficulty or a marriage problem or whatever might be taxing you and keeping you awake at night and causing you to worry, and you're having that Red Sea moment like we just talked about, where you're like, are you aware, God, what's going on? You just got to focus on him and just trust him and trust what he is doing. Because when he does it, it's a big deal. He could have done it any other way. Like you said, Coach, he can do however he wants to do it. But when he does it, he makes a big show of it sometimes. Like that was a big way to do that. Wait till the last of the enemies in the middle of the Red Sea. They think they're going to cross over just like y'all did. And then he closes it up on them. No one saw that one coming. That was one of those you couldn't predict. I love when God shows himself big, because then he gets all the glory. So that's what you have to remember. It may not be the way you would do it, because his ways are what higher, it says in the Bible, but it's going to be so worth the wait. You just got to hang in there and trust in him. And I'm preaching to myself. I have to hang in there and trust in him, trust the process. Sometimes he delays the blessing, or he delays the answer, because it has nothing to do with you. It might have something to do with somebody else. It's not that he's forgotten you or he's not watching out for you. It's that he's working on somebody else over here, and you're just being like used, like you're being used in this process. So you have to know that it's not always all about you, which, as Jeff says, it's hard for me to realize sometimes. It's not all about me all the time. Like sometimes God is using you as an example, or growing somebody else. Maybe he's growing a part of you, a part of your faith that maybe was lacking. Maybe that he's growing you up in some way. But you have to trust the process and trust in the one who made the process. Trust in the Creator. So I am learning that in a new season of my life right now in such a big way. I think sometimes you have to walk through it to really learn it. And I hope I get it really. I hope I really get it this time, so I don't have to go around that mountain anymore, because it's not fun. But growth is never usually fun, but it's always so worth it when you get to the other side, isn't it? To see what God did with you.
I would not wish hard times on anybody.
No.
But how many times, if you've encountered someone that's going through it and you come alongside them and say, I've been down that path.
That's right.
Your test becomes a testimony. Your mess
Amen.
becomes a message. And I know those are cliches and probably overused, but they are nonetheless
But they're true.
They're true.
That's right.
And don't question, and anything becomes stronger. You build muscles by using them, by tearing them down and rebuilding. Did you know a broken bone heals back stronger than
I
the
did know
original
that.
bone. Yeah.
That's right.
Now you just, I have never given thought to what you just said. The Red Sea parted, and the Israelites start going through the parted sea. But that
Yes.
really, that was kind of an, it's like, oh, okay, we're going to get pursued. I mean, last time I checked, horses are faster than people.
Right. Yeah.
And so that was not an assurance of safety going through that Red Sea. But I remind you that before the Red Sea parted, what did God tell Moses to do? Extend your staff.
Right.
Now, did God need Moses' help parting the Red Sea? Really? And what does holding a staff out have anything to do with the Red Sea parting? Nothing.
Just
But
an act of obedience is
it's
what
an
it
act of
is.
faith. It's an act
Yeah,
of
that's
obedience.
right.
And go fact check me, Facebook. Anywhere in the Bible a miracle is performed, there is an act of faith.
Mm-hmm.
Now, God doesn't need our help. He could have vaporized the Egyptian army. He
Well,
could have turned them
yeah.
into stone in their tracks.
Absolutely.
He
Yeah.
could have. But he required Moses. And imagine, you're looking up to your leader, and your leader's out here waving his staff around. What is that? A magic wand? You go,
And you can see the army coming at you. You're
yeah.
like,
You can
oh
hear the
my
hoof
goodness.
prints.
Yeah, like the horses aren't really quiet. You can hear that's what I mean. Like I think probably a lot of people feel that right now, that they're in the middle of the Red Sea and they can hear the army coming at them, and they're like, are you aware what's going on? Are you watching? But God is, and he's still a good God, and he's still in control. And I think when he shows up big, and he's going to do the unthinkable, the unimaginable, and the miraculous. And so sometimes he does require the natural in us, and then he adds a super, and we get the supernatural. But an act of obedience, exactly what you said, Coach, always happens before the miracle happens. So hang in there. Just keep doing what you know to do, trusting in him. And I think it's good to get some scriptures in you, and to be able to, you need to be in the Word every day, and not for hours
well,
at a time. I know we
you
don't have
can't
that, but
wait until the situation is upon you.
you don't wait to build that house in the storm, right? You got to
Right.
have the house built before the storm comes.
Exactly.
That's right.
You have to be
I like it.
intentional and prepare. You can't wait for the crisis and then go to God and dust him off the shelf and say, "Hey, God, I need you." God doesn't serve us.
That's
Okay.
right.
We can't
But
bind God.
he is called the Prince of Peace, which I love. It says, "For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace."
Prince of
That's
Peace.
Isaiah 9:6. I love that. He's the Prince of Peace. And then there was one more I was going to read. These are scriptures to go to if you're struggling with peace, if your peace ornament's broken and all those things are happening. Let's see. But right? I mean, I like John 14:27 says, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid." And so even though this is a time when we're afraid of COVID, and we're afraid of our loved ones dying, and we're afraid of, what's going on in Washington and all the craziness, he's saying, don't be afraid. And he said that the peace he gives, this isn't what the world gives. You can get, I could go to a spa. I would highly recommend that. I would love to go back, where they give you a massage, and, they do your nails, they give you a facial, and there's a steam sauna, and man, you can get relaxed. And I did feel peaceful, let me just tell you. But that isn't every day, and that isn't the kind of peace that lasts. He gives you the everlasting peace that no matter what's going on around you, you can still have peace in your heart. That's what we need to get through this season and the next season, and until he comes back. So don't just think about, we sing a lot about, peace, and we send Christmas cards that have, joy to the world, peace unto you. Peace is big this time of year, but it should be big every day for the Christian, because we need to be examples of that Prince of Peace and know that he's living big in us. So, but the world's watching. Listen, the world is hungry for more. They want that peace. They're looking for some sort of inspiration. They're looking for hope. It's sort of hopeless out there right now. And since we have the answer, and we have the hope, and we have the peace, it's great if we can be an example, a living example of that. I always used to tell the girls when I drop them off at school, I'd say, you may be the only Jesus that anybody sees today. Let Jesus shine big in you. And I think we should all do that.
I'm reminded of two stories, and they're only parenthetically related to your good pep talk there. But one is, have you ever been in the store or in the mall or whatever, and you get separated from the person that you went there with? And you start roaming around and looking. Well, did it occur to you that the other person is doing the same thing, and you guys are just doing this around each other? If either one of you would have just sat still, you would have been discovered by the other one,
Yeah.
So there are times that we need to just be still, and let God, don't get out in front of God and try to do everything for him.
Yes.
Let God work. And that's really tough, especially for us men. We want to interdict. We want to, engage it. Either that or retreat to a simpler task. The other story is just when you were saying that Marty was involved in an automobile accident right down the road.
Right.
For some reason, it reminded me of a couple of years ago. I was in the shower at the time. Gee, this sounds familiar.
Yeah.
And I hear a loud noise and a horn blowing outside. And it turns out that a friend of ours who is I don't want to say too much, okay, because her identity is nobody's business. But her son was a very high profile person, let's just say, in the community, and well respected and revered. So I went out to her car, and she had jumped the curb and hit a tree.
Oh.
And I wondered, how did that happen? Well, when I went out there, got a few clothes on, went out there, I discovered that, she had been drinking. I had to resist calling 911. So I took her inside the house and said, sit down. I moved her car. And when she sobered up, we called the police. Because she would have been arrested. And of course, you know how the news media would then drag her son through the mud.
That's right.
There's you have no friends in the political arena. And, so I'm certainly not, and by the way, she's fine now and doesn't have a drinking problem today, but she had just tied one on and forgot which was the brake pedal and which was the accelerator. And so that kind of cured her of that. I don't know what that has to do with Marty, but life happens, okay? You're not, what was I telling someone the other day? You cannot eliminate the risk. You cannot. This was the first lesson in motorcycle certification for driving, getting on your license. In Florida, you have to have a certification, okay? And that was the first lesson. You cannot take the risk out of motorcycle riding. You can't. You can manage it. You can manage it. Folks, you can't take the risk out of life. You can manage it. When you sit in your car, put on your seatbelt. Manage the risk. You may have an accident, So much we can do, but in seeking peace, have a plan. Don't wait for the crisis and say, I need some peace. I haven't given that any thought. How do I find peace? Let me go to PJNET.tv. Michelle Medlock Adams was saying, it's a little late for that. Folks, engage it now. Engage it now. Know that troubled times, the storms are on the horizon all the time. No doubt about it. So, Michelle, I think I'm grateful that you always have a good message, but I am just grateful that in this time of stress in our society, in our nation, in our world, but in our own personal lives, there is a need to seek some peace.
Amen.
And maybe some of these other problems would either lessen or just outright go away if we would just unclench our fist,
Well, yeah. I think we start
simple.
practicing. There's an old book called Practicing His Presence. I read it years and years ago. I probably need to pull it back out. But when you practice God's presence, which means you just commune with him all day long, not in your prayer closet, but just staying plugged in to the Almighty, then it's really hard to be in unrest and not be peaceful when you're plugged into the Prince of Peace. He kind of dictates that. He overrides your unpeacefulness. Is that a word I just made up? But when you're I think I might have just Dr. Seuss that just now. But if you don't have peace in your heart,
your anxiety.
That's it. He will override that. And I think that's why we have to stay. You don't have to go searching for it or try to conjure it up or even watch any videos or anything. But if you just plug back into the Prince of Peace, he'll give you the peace that you need to get through anything. And you're exactly right. God didn't promise us a rose garden. That was some pop song from the 70s. The Bible even says in James, to expect trouble, that there's going to be trouble. It doesn't mean we want to call it in and celebrate it, but just to know that as long as we're on this side of heaven, there's going to be trouble, because the Christians aren't exempt from it. But the thing is we know that we win in the end, that we get to spend eternity with the Lord, and that our hope is in him, no matter what's going on in the world. So you can have peace and joy and all those things you're supposed to have at Christmas all year long if you're plugged into him.
Amen. Michelle,
Yeah.
thanks for that, and we're
You're welcome.
glad we overcame the stress of whatever
know.
happened. I have no idea. It's still happening. The screen has shifted. I don't know. But we
It's
have
odd.
peace. The
That's
electrons are at peace, and it's working. But thank you for sharing. Can't wait to see you. Next week will be the last
Yes.
time we'll see you from the home you're in, right?
That's right.
All right.
That's
Well, let's
right.
make it a good one, and we
All right.
appreciate so much you sharing. Appreciate
Thank
it,
you.
Michelle. All right. Good
Thanks,
night.
guys. Bye.
Michelle Medlock Adams are right here on PJNET.TV. There you see a live view of the PJNET.TV chat room. Okay. Thank you so much to all of you who join us night after night after night. PJNET.TV chat room. You are the lifeblood, you are the heartbeat, you are the pulse of PJNET. The content, the programming is great. I enjoy the conversations, but folks, that's the relationships and the teamwork that has resulted and has been a manifestation. It's a manifestation of the love of God that we share with each other. And so I love you guys. I really appreciate you. Now, we'd like to have more people discover the best kept secret on the internet, and that is the PJNET.TV chat room. So I'm making an effort to reach out to people who see this. Please come join our fellowship. You will not regret it. You will probably find yourself coming back again and again and again. And those of you that are here, I would challenge you to invite a friend or an acquaintance or somebody you just met, and let's not keep this the best kept secret on the internet. Folks, time to go. We went a little late because we got interrupted by that whatever glitch. I always want to take the opportunity to share a challenge with you as we close. And it takes the form of 2 questions. Here's the first one. What is the boldest thing that you have ever done for the kingdom of Christ? And secondly, when was that? I certainly hope that none of us would allow ourselves to be satisfied with our answers to those 2 important questions.